Ladies and gentlemen, what's popping with you? It's your boy Sim. I'm in the building, and Nazir Jones and Hit Boy just dropped Magic, ladies and gentlemen, and me, Tony Crowe, Savvy. We just got done listening to it, so we're gonna do an initial review, and then, of course, like we do, we'll do a full breakdown, like most times when a Nas album drops. So let's go ahead and get with it. Tony Crowe, Savvy, what's popping with you, man? How you feeling?
Oh, your blackest time, man. I'm feeling good, man. It's a nice little early Christmas present for
No,
me.
or that's what I'm saying. It's a nice, especially when the Knicks getting their ass bust all over the place. You know what I'm saying? We got a nice album. We got a nice little album that we can just rock with. You know what I mean?
Something good had to happen for New York today. You know what I'm saying? I'm 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 experiencing a beautiful moment right now. There's beautiful weather in South Florida. Okay, there's a new Nas joint, and I've been arguing on online and in different circles about a Nas versus Hove battle ever since Hove said what he said about the verses, and now we got another fire Nas project. Can't
Yeah.
ask for more than that.
We might as well just go ahead and jump into the project. That's what the people came here to listen to. So let's do it. Let's get into it, man. Tony, what is your initial reaction of the album? And then we'll quickly go down each one of the tracks and talk about it. But what's your initial reaction of the album? And then Savvy, I'm gonna get to you too.
Well, my initial reaction was it might be better than KD too. It might be. And
Right off top.
I I
Right off.
got it. Of course, I gotta give it another listen. But remember when we did KD 2, I said, "Yo, this might be better than King's Disease."
King's disease, right?
And yeah, we'll see. We'll see when we get to the
We'll
full
see. I
breakdown.
mean, I know for me, I gotta listen to it a little bit more. You know what I mean? Get used to a few things, get used to some of the sounds, but Savvy.
This is a dense bundle of hard beats, hard flows, and just free form ish talk by the greatest rapper of all time. He
Ooh.
sounds free, he's having fun, and he doesn't care about none of y'all. And that's what takes this project to the next level. I don't know where I put it among the Hit Boy and Nas albums, but I can tell you this: it's better than a lot of what I've heard this year.
Well, hold your horses because KD3, I mean, he already told you KD3 is dropping at sometime. We don't know when. You know what I'm saying? This is just to, feed the buzz until KD3 drops. You know what I mean? Before we start going track by track, and I think we're just gonna do this quick and we'll do a full review where we sample the track and all of that later, right? But this is just an initial review. I felt like maybe this was almost like a lost tapes a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I feel like maybe just when I hear some of the beats, it feels like a mixture between the two albums with some of the beats that I heard. So maybe there's some things that they didn't feel fit on those albums. So they finished them up and just put them out. Because when you look at this, it really doesn't have any kind of theme to it. They're just songs. You know what I'm saying? Just songs put together. So I feel like it's kind of like a lost tapes, but he didn't want to put it in the realm of a lost tape. So he just called it magic. That's what I kind of
Bro,
feel. That's like my first initial reaction to it. You know what I'm saying? And not
bro,
initial reaction, but my first thought about it. I mean, my initial reaction is that it's a dope album. Whatever it is, how they got it is dope. Super dope, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But I feel like maybe that's what it is.
I feel like the only cohesive element that ties it together, thematically speaking, is on the front cover you got a picture of Young Nas, and on the back cover you got a picture of Young Nas, and he sound like he's back in that bag, especially with some of these flows. Before I saw the Spider-Man movie, Die Hard told me, he said, once it gets going, it never stops. And that's the way I feel about this album as well.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, part of like what you said, no lack of cohesiveness, and not in a bad way, but that's what I love about the project. It's like freedom. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be structured. It doesn't have to be themed on a topic or anything of that nature. It's just a bunch of dope beats, like Savvy said, and then Nas just went in on every record.
Right.
And you can tell he feeling himself right now. He's talking to the youth. He's talking to the rappers out there, and he's patting himself on the back for where he started from and where he is.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's exactly what he's doing on this joint right here. And letting you know that, yo, I'm in the studio. I'm in my shit right now.
Yes.
Y'all better be aware, because, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like, I don't even know if I want to call it a rebirth, but it's like he's inspired with HitBoy and he knows what he should be doing. It's like he found his voice. And that's scary, because if you think, you know, back then that Nas didn't know what his voice was, and if you listen to all of his albums, they all sound different, right? So he didn't know what his voice was then. Now all of a sudden he's found his voice and kind of figured some things out musically on where he fits in. I mean, can we say the best is yet to come? Maybe best is yet to come from Nas. It may not be as get the same fanfare that it did back in the day. You know what I'm saying? With him like being the most popular rapper out there, right? But he may have his best music might be ahead of him.
I think he's definitely the best in his age group with that longevity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
He's been regarded as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, since he came out. And he's having a better third act, however you want to divide it, than any other MC that I'm hearing still rap.
Yeah.
That's been out since then.
Yeah. I mean, listen. He said it on Nas's Light. He says, sooner or later, you'll all see who the prophet is. You know what I mean? That's what he said.
Ill is immortal, buddy.
That's what he said.
Ill is immortal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So before we listened to the album, we did a little game and we picked what we thought would be our two favorite tracks.
Right.
So I think I picked I know I had The Truth and I had 4016.
Yeah.
You had The Truth also.
I had The Truth and I had Speechless.
Yeah.
Savvy had Meet Joe Black and Woo for the Children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo for the Children is dope. Everything is dope. Everything is dope. Woo for the Children was tough. So let's start with Speechless.
Let's get it.
What did you think about Speechless? I know when it first came on, my ears, I'm listening to the beat. I'm like, okay, what is this? You know what I mean? So far, everything that he's put out with HitBoy, well, I don't know about KD2. With KD1, I had to get used to the beats. KD2, I didn't really have to. You know what I'm saying? They had the soulful feel, and it was a little bit more non-style beats. With this, some of the beats, I'm like, okay, let me get my ears used to it and then hear what Nas is spitting and how he's spitting. But he was in his bag on Speechless, though.
Yeah, perfect intro.
Yeah. A beautiful intro track to the album. You know what I mean? And, you're hearing him you know, play around with different flows and styles and going double time and and he's right now he's being able to seamlessly transition between different flows and cadences. You know what I mean? It's like he's still sitting in the mirror practicing and just getting better and better with his flow. It's wild, you know. Tony, any thoughts on it? Speechless.
So coming in, I you picked Speechless, and you mentioned the title, and it also being the first track, and I thought that was a good point of why you would think that would be one of the better songs or one of your favorites, and then once you said that, I remember KD2. I liked the first song, but I was like, it didn't feel like an intro. I think we agreed like the third song probably should have been the intro, but I, I think it was a perfect introduction to the album. I love the way I actually love the way the beat started off. Like right off the jump, I knew it was gonna be a vibe, and yeah, he was going hard. The theme of the album, he was in
Yeah,
his bag.
right. He's in his bag, and it leaves you a little bit speechless. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like he's still like pushing the boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Still pushing the
Well,
boundaries by sometimes going back. Savvy, what did you think about Speechless?
first of all, every time I hear new Nas, it's like a cure for rhyme block. You feel me? Because this guy is just like, he just dives into a real hard flow immediately. Like, I agree with you, Sim. King's Disease 1 kind of sounded like a re-entry. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna start here and we're gonna build this up and build up the momentum. And then King's Disease 2, it sounded like he just kind of took off immediately. And that's how I feel about the way he started Speechless. Like, he just dives into this real hard flow, this real dope flow. His delivery is second to none, in my opinion, of like throughout his career. And that's in effect immediately with Speechless. And I have to give it to HitBoy, man. Like, this dude not only can pepper a Nas album with some hard beats that let him just rip, but also as people will listen to the album, they'll see that, on the past 3 albums they've done, his beat switch game is just so hard. Speechless to me is just a clinic. Like, I'm gonna, like, with no further ado, we're not wasting time, I'm getting right to business.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no
It's
doubt.
just beautiful.
Yeah, and that's what he did. Went right to business, and then Meet Joe Black. Again, what I'm saying, you switching up the cadences. You know what I mean, from the verses to the hook. Tony, what you think about Meet Joe Black?
It took me a second, but once I got acclimated to the record and what he was talking about, again, he was going hard. If I had to rate it, I'd give it probably a 8, and yeah, I give it an 8, maybe 8.5.
Mm-hmm. Now, see, I know for me, I got to listen to the album a few more times, but that was one I had to kind of, okay, let me get used to it, let me get into it. But the hook, though, like what he was saying in the hook, what he say, run me the keys, run me the bees, run me that flow back.
Yes.
He said, what he say? You're top 3. I'm not number 1. How could you post that?
Yeah.
I wear the crown. The city is mine. You cannot hold that. I'm not the one to go at. Fuck around, Meet Joe Black.
Yeah.
I mean, but of course he said it in a different cadence than I just said it. I don't even remember the cadence he said because we only listened to the album one time so far. That's why I'm saying this is an initial reaction. Literally, we just got done, smoking up our headphones. You know what I mean? But the cadence on the hook I thought was tough. I think that's the first thing that stuck out to me, the cadence on the hook. Savvy?
I love the cadence. I love the cadence on the hook. I love the aggression in the delivery. I love the beat. The beat just sounds like that mood. It's like it sounds like that gritty, you know what I mean? Really attack this beat. Like there's just certain things you can't talk about on the beat like that.
Yeah.
And Nas met that with perfect energy. And I love when he starts verses with a question.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Between the two songs, like, I mean, I guess you can take anything and listen to anything and say, you know, you're taking a shot at Jay or this person or that person, but you know, do you think somewhere in there, you heard what Jay just said about nobody can stand on the stage with him as far as verses? You know what I'm saying? Nas comes out with an album here, basically saying, if I'm not number one, how could you post that? Right? I mean, these are clear two people saying, I'm the God MC, like I'm the king, right? And two guys that most people recognize as the king. Do you think somewhere in there they're looking at each other like, I think we might have to do this again? This time, you know, not as vicious, but do you think it could be getting to that point with Nas and Jay again?
No,
I mean, this time without the without all the other drama to it.
What I think well, in that aspect, yes, I think it could be leading to a versus. I think if they both, I mean, Jay don't really come out often, you know what I mean, and he definitely hasn't talked that talk recently, like up until recently, like he's been quiet on that front, like he don't care about that, you know what I mean, like he's dealing with business things and money things. But it's funny because Nas has become the money guy, right?
Become a money guy, right?
And now he's talking his talk, you know what I mean? Like, because the argument before was, oh, he don't got the kind of money Jay got.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what it always, like, when we used to clash with in the arguments, it'd be like, oh, but he ain't got Jay-Z money, you know what I mean? not saying he got that yet, but he getting it.
He don't got Jay-Z money like Jay-Z money yet, but he's making money.
He's comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
He's real comfortable.
You know what I mean? And I feel like he doesn't even have that same agenda either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like his come up was way quicker. Let's say that. So he's on pace, you know what I mean?
Right.
To get there.
Yeah, look, Jay Goose Jr., hopefully I said your name right. He said, facts, Jay-Z probably knew Nas was coming with heat. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? You might be right. I'm sure he heard something. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, you know, let me come out and say something, get my name out here a little bit. Let people know I'm still around. You know?
I like his picture too.
And you know, I see someone else said they're friends, and it's a friendly rivalry at this point.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't think they would do anything crazy. It would be a friendly rivalry, but I think somewhere, I mean, throughout the years, I still think they've been taking little pit shots at each other throughout the years. I don't care. On Jay Electronica's album, I feel like Jay took a shot at Nas on there. Right? He said something. Who's your favorite now? And to me, that was a clear shot. I don't care what nobody say. When you go back to the Blueprint 2 and the joint he had on the Blueprint, right? And he basically was saying, I can't believe this is the dude that y'all like. And then he comes back and he's like, now who's your favorite? Now to me, that was a clear shot at Nas. You know what I'm saying? Back on American Gangster, when Nas was like, my worst enemies want to be my best friend. If that wasn't a shot at Jay, I don't know what is. That was on his own track. You know what I mean? So
I thought he went at him on the new cat or the latest Khaled drink with him and Nas.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's clear that they've been taking little shots at each other for a while, but yeah, I mean, the buildup could be coming. It could be coming. It could be coming, man. The next,
and I think they would do it right too. Excuse
yeah.
me. I think they would do it right, knowing what it was and where it is. Like I think they would do it the right way. Like
yeah. I think they would.
I think so too.
The next track, Ugly. This is actually my favorite track so far on the album. I mean, not so far. This is my favorite track on the album right now. Ugly. I love that.
I actually agree. And then this was Savvy's. He did a 2 and a possible. This was his possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree. And yeah, right after we heard that, I was like, it's my favorite so far. And once we were done, that is my favorite song as well.
Right. And then of course, this is where you get the line KD3 on the way, just to feed the buzz. And it's like, okay, we already thinking about KD3. We haven't even gotten through halfway through this joint. You know what I mean?
We had to stop.
Yeah, sir. I thought when you got excited, you was like, "Oh!" I thought that was part of the record. Yeah, like I swear to God, I thought that was part of the record. I was like,
it's a perfect title. It's a perfect title because I had the ugly face on the whole time. I was just like, man, right. like it was just mean. Like the way he raps on this whole album, it was just head bobbing music the whole time. I was just like, dang, like
yeah. And then with Ugly, I feel like Ugly, just the style of it could have fit on KD2.
Yeah.
Soulfulness of the beat. I think it could have fit on KD2. 4016 building for building 4016 building.
Mm-hmm.
That's my
storytelling.
Don't even say it, sir.
Right now, that's my second favorite. That's my second favorite right now.
Mine as well, and it feels like an extension of Ugly.
Yeah, it does.
Like he's the same reason Ugly's my favorite. It's the same reason that's my second favorite.
He just went into his bag all the way through.
Oh man,
yeah. Went into his bag all the way through on 4016. You know
what I'm saying? No one sets a scene like Nas does.
The beat almost sounds like it almost sounds like a J beat from early 2000s. On 4016. Almost. You know what I mean? Hollywood Gangsta, I think right now that's probably my least favorite on the album. That don't mean I don't like it. It's just my least favorite.
I do like when he comes out and criticizes.
I gotta get into it and hear the lyrics a little bit. And see, and this too, I feel like this is the reason why I feel like this is kind of like a lost tapes type of thing, right? Because I hear Hollywood Gangster, and the Death Row East joint.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And HitBoy said that, he was trying to find a beat that, because the story Death Row East was about Pac, trying to find a beat or making a beat that kind of sounded like something Pac would rap over. And this Hollywood Gangster kind of sounds to me like something Pac would rap over too. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm thinking like, okay, maybe they made this beat. They didn't feel like Death Row East really fit on this one, so we did something else. And then they finally found the right thing for Death Row East. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. I feel like some of it could be, at least a few tracks, some things that were on the cutting room floor from KD1 and KD2. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So this this is my least favorite song as well, but it's really just my least favorite beat, which makes what you said interesting. I gotta listen again too, just to see if I can hear what you're saying about Tupac, and also by the end of the song, I was adjusted to the beat, and anytime I listen to Nas, I always hear the lyrics first.
Right.
Anyway, so like lyric wise, like he was killing it. He's talking about recent, you know what I mean, things that's going on out there in Hollywood and other places, and basically it's dope that he's saying Hollywood gangster, but I'm the opposite of that. So lyric wise, I love it, but I do gotta listen again because it took me a while to adjust to the beat.
Yeah. Obviously, everything I gotta listen to again, adjust to the beats. You know what I'm saying? Adjust to the different cadences and all of that, and you know, just kind of get used to it. You know what I mean? Kabe said this, the joint stuff. I mean, I think it's a dope song. It's just for me on this album, it's my least favorite on this album. But I agree with Jay Goose. It has no skips. I think the album has no skips. Yeah. And then Woo for the Children. This one, I think we all agreed, took a turn that we wasn't expecting. I didn't know what to expect, but I thought the beat was gonna be more wooish, probably.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe had, like Savvy said, you know, some samples from Old Dirty Bastard or somebody, you know what I mean? Went in a totally different direction. Obviously, he did mention Old Dirty Bastard in the song, but you know, went in that direction, kind of talking about some things maybe he didn't do in his career. He does mention he, Jay and Big, he said, right? Being Cole,
Drizzy,
and Kenny. He said Kenny.
Yeah.
Of the time. So, you know, that was dope comparison.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I obviously everybody's already done that, you know, fans, but you know, for him to put it out there in the song.
Man, imagine the Kendrick feature somewhere on this album. Imagine that, like since you pointed that out. And not only that, but I love when he touches on the past and gets reflective. It always puts me like it always hits me in my soul. I'm like, dang, like I'm just running through scenarios now of like, man, what if he did hop on this remix? You know what I mean? Like, what ifs flying through my mind. And when he did like we talked about during the listen, when he did Queensbridge Politics, it hit me the same way. I'm like, this guy knows how to hit a flow, hit a pocket, deliver, set a scene, tell a story, and like speak on old decisions with a reflective mindset, and just bring you on that journey with him.
Yeah. You know, he did make me a little mad in this song. You know what I mean? When he said, you know, I should have went ahead and did the remix to give me the loop. And I'm like, so you telling me you deprived us of that joint the same way he deprived us of being on the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Right? He was supposed to be. He didn't show up to the studio or whatever it was.
He might have made up for that though. You know what I mean? The big joint. You know what I mean? Can't make up for that.
You know what I'm saying?
Quick question. If he was on the Miseducation, which song would you most like to hear him on?
I don't even know. I don't know.
Lost one for me.
Or maybe the song's not on there. Maybe it was going to be something. True. You know, something else.
But I feel like he would have done something dirty to that Lost Ones beat.
Yeah, he probably would have. And he might have been on that because, especially at that time, Nas was still, you know, real popular MC. Was that the first single?
Was it?
On Miseducation?
I was young.
I don't know. But that would have been a likely track for him to be on. Yeah.
He might have flipped it too.
Yeah, he would have flipped that joint, But I mean, it is what it is, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff we don't know about that we probably like. Damn, he was supposed to be on that. Why we didn't get you know what I mean?
It's like we said, man. He got clips on the shelf, bro.
Yeah, without a doubt, doubt.
Woo for the Children is probably my fourth favorite. I put Speechless at 3, and then Woo for the Children. And then I agree. It took me. I was expecting something other than what it was, but then it was so introspective. I guess the word would be. That again, that's one of those things that's right down my alley of what I enjoy to listen to.
Right. And then we got Waveguards featuring A$AP Rocky and DJ Premier. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I could see that being the single. If a single is going to come out from this, I could see that being the single that comes out, the video that comes out. You know what I'm saying? I just think it was an overall dope track. I wish maybe Rocky went a little shorter, but I can live with it.
Half long, twice strong.
Yeah, I kind of thought he was gonna have a second verse too. So in that aspect, I was cool with it. No disrespect, because he definitely went in. And I'm not a Rocky fan per se. But yeah, I think he knew who he was in the room with. You know what I mean? And I definitely like the blend of Premier and HitBoy. At least I'm assuming that it wasn't just Premier. It was like HitBoy, and then Premier put his touch on it, and I think it fit seamlessly. I would like to see them do it again. And I think you said off camera, it kind of sounded like you went a song in particular, but it kind of sounded like he was digging in the crates of what Premier does, and you know what I mean, and making it easy on him.
Right. It sounded to me like he listened to Nas's and said, okay, let me see if I could do something similar, not the exact same beat, but something kind of similar with the beat structure and that thing. And then called up Premier and said, yo, what you think? Da-da-da. They knocked it out. Personally, just given the vibe of the album now, this is sticking to the concept that HitBoy and Nas have done over the 3 albums, right? Having Nas do something with a younger, more popular artist. But I would have liked to hear AZ on that track instead of A$AP Rocky. I think that would have,
that would have been nasty.
But it's still dope. It's still dope. You know what I mean? And I get it. You trying to have something to go out and reach the younger crowd. You know what I mean? But if AZ was on there,
and he shouted out the Wave King himself, Bigger Valley Max B. So
yeah, no doubt
that was dope.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about it. But it's a dope.
I love the flow. I love the flow that A$AP chose to attack this with. I felt like it was very complimentary to this beat. I actually am a Rocky fan, but I didn't know which A$AP Rocky we was gonna get on this song. I didn't know if it was gonna get Hook Rocky, you know what I'm saying, or if we was gonna get Spitter Rocky. And Spitter Rocky came through. He understood what he needed to talk about, and once Nas took over on this track, I was like, okay, like I see why he's the feature on here. I think HitBoy and Primo need to do more co-producing. That would be a beautiful thing to see. And And y'all been saying for a long time that y'all want to hear the Primo and Nas album.
I
So
mean,
hopefully this can be a portal to that. You know, I'm sure he's got a lot left in the tank. You know what I'm saying? After KD3, we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I think everybody wants to hear that Primo and Nas album. You know, if there's one to be made, I think everybody wants to hear that.
Absolutely.
You know, I think everybody
Not
wants to.
me.
And then we got The Truth. You know what I'm saying? Where he just, again, just goes off the hip. Just goes in, just, lets you know who the king is. You know what I mean? I gotta get used to the beat a little bit, I think. Dope beat. And by the end of it, I was like, I was really in it. So now I need to go back and listen to everything again. You know what I mean? And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, like we're doing an initial review, then we're gonna do a full review where we can now really, after we listen to it a couple of times, now we can really dig into it a little bit. Actually, I did want to ask one more question about Waveguards. Is Nas and HitBoy the new gang star? Are they the new gang star?
You know, it's funny. You gotta have Primo on the record to even make that comment. You know, like you can't you can't make that comment and Primo wasn't. You know what I mean? In the room.
Yeah.
That's a dope line right there.
That's a very interesting question because go on, Tone.
I mean, it's looking like it. You know what I mean? Can not, but you putting pressure on yourself, Nas. You know what I mean? Like we talk about how you know what I mean? How he free, he ain't got no, you know what I mean? He ain't got no worries. He just making music for the love. Like now you gotta go and put some. Like now you gotta have longevity between you guys. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna need like 3 more albums after KD3.
Yeah.
To you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. You went from EPMD to Gangsta. Who's next?
Right. Who's next?
That's a real interesting. That's a real interesting dynamic to think about because for as long as I've been listening to Nas, I never saw him as someone who could fit into a group dynamic. Like even with the Firm, I wasn't around during the time of the Firm, like as a hip hop listener. But going back to the Firm, I'm just like, this guy just takes all the oxygen in the room. Like it takes guys like Cormega and AZ and a rapper like Foxy to just to even make that work. You know what I mean? I always felt like Nas Dolo was the best Nas that we could have. Not seeing him as a rapper that could be like DJ somebody and Nas, or like DJ somebody and a rapper like DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. But now he's got HitBoy. Now he's got HitBoy, and everything that they drop is Nas and HitBoy. You know what I mean? Executive production, and it's like there's something to that because HitBoy has his sound. Nas has what he brings that we all know and love. And I remember before the first King's Disease came out, when we did the announcement, when we did the initial reaction to the artwork that they put out, people were doubting HitBoy's ability to do it justice. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I was like, if somebody can do it, this is a very fascinating choice because I believe that he can.
Yeah,
and so
HitBoy does a good job of making a dope beat, but still letting Nas breathe.
Exactly.
and doing what he does without overpowering Nas. He does a really good job. I mean, I think it's hard to overpower Nas, right? Because he's got the voice, he's got the flow, lyrics, so on and so forth. But he does a good job of making a dope beat, but building it around Nas. You know what I mean? And there's an art in that.
Yeah,
there's an art in that. You know what I mean? And then Dedicated. And obviously, you know, everybody loves the beat switch on Dedicated. And you could have made an entire song with just that beat right there. As a matter of fact, you could have split it up with 2 joints, had Dedicated, had 10 tracks, make it even. Like Tony said, make it even, 10 tracks. You know what I mean? And you know, call the second half. But right now, this is a Nas and HitBoy. This is a thing. This is what they've done. Right? It's part of their blueprint, I guess.
Sim, they do this to us every time. Okay. What did we say about 27 Summers? That needed to be a 3-minute song.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then EPMD came out, right? And those two beats on there, and we was like, yo, listen, this could be 2 songs, fam. Like you could easily make 2 songs with this. And now they've done it again. I'm a sucker for a beat switch, but oh my goodness. Yeah. Like, it's just like at some point you have to ask yourself, like, are we ever gonna get this deluxe version? I remember when Rare Form came out, I was waiting to see if we got like we were speculating to see if there was gonna be a split in the video and he was gonna put like 27 Summers or one of the other songs on there, and I was just like, man, sometimes Jizza is right, you know, half long, twice strong, don't do nothing else with it.
Right. Yeah, man. But that beat switch is, Tony, I don't know. You haven't commented on it yet.
I wish he did it. I wish he made it 2 songs, made it even 10. That second beat, man. That second beat. And it's crazy because the first beat, it's not that I didn't like it, but as soon as I got to where I was getting it, you know what I mean? It switched over, and then the second beat, immediately, bang! I'm like, come on.
Right.
So again, I gotta listen to it again just so I could get the appreciation on the first half.
Yeah.
Because like I said, as soon as I was getting into that beat, it flipped into some next level.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, bottom line, the album is dope, super dope album, and it's really just getting us in store for KD3 whenever that's gonna come out. You know what I mean? But the album is crazy. It's a dope album, real dope album. I can't wait to listen to it again. I'm only listening to it one time. I can't wait to listen to it again.
And I gotta wait till the morning, because if I put it on to go to sleep, I'm gonna end up listening to it straight through.
Yeah. I do have a couple questions though that I'm gonna ask you. Is this the best 3-run album? You know, 3 album run of Nas's career?
It is. It definitely is. Well, number one, it's the most acclaimed run. You know what I mean? Going off the last 2, and again, I haven't looked at Twitter yet or seen what the consensus is out there, but I'm sure it's gonna get positive reviews. It's probably not in the realm of a Grammy nomination, but I think this is something for the, like, this ain't for the people who nominate Grammys and stuff. Like, this is for us. You know what I mean? Like, this is like this is what I love from Nas. Like the lack of theme is what really brings it out to me. Like, it's really just him going in. So nice touch, and to know that it's not over. Like, he got us already thinking about like KD3. Like, this got to be the best run of his career.
Let me see. Plant Based said Stillmatic, Lost Tapes, and Godson. Still my favorite Nas 3-album run. That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
That's a rough one. You know, and I like the I Am album more than a lot of people like that album. But if Stillmatic had been his 3rd album, that would be a really tough 3 to beat. But I was gonna say, from Distant Relatives to Life is Good to Nasir, At first, Nasir took me some time to adjust, but it's aged so well. You know what I'm saying? And like, even though Nas clearly dominates the production of Nasir, I'm like, in terms of just like music that I like to listen to, I go back to those albums so often. You know, not as often as I go to Illmatic, It Was Written, and Stillmatic, but when we're looking at KD2, and Magic, I might have to spend Magic a couple more times, but those are instant hard ones. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, Kavez, I'm telling you, Illmatic, It Was Written, and I Am. That's a rough. That's a rough three to beat.
My thing is, obviously, Illmatic and It Was Written. I Am, I feel like, takes a dip between
exactly
from those two. In my opinion, it takes a dip from those two.
In those three, it's definitely the weak link. But if Stillmatic had been that third one,
you know, I mean, but to me, obviously, neither one of these three can stand up to It Was Written. I mean, to Illmatic. Can they stand up to It Was Written? Either one of these three. Can they stand up to It Was Written?
I don't know if they can, but the reason I like this run is because of where he is in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And also what he's saying about where he is in his career. You know what I mean? Like, he couldn't have done this back then. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that's the difference. So it's like his growth. It's like he's not stuck in 1991. You know what I mean? To 95. Like, he's in the present, still like talking to the current rappers, the current culture. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I'm talking about about the run.
Yeah.
But
for me, like, obviously Illmatic and It Was Written, and I like I Am, but I just don't feel like it keeps the consistency.
Exactly.
You know, as far as the, high quality. I don't want to say high quality, but just the consistency of being as good as those other two. Right. Here, I think the consistency between the three albums remains the same.
There's very few skips.
If not gets better from KD1 to KD2 to Magic.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
I completely agree.
Marlon Varnell said Illmatic, It Was Written, Stillmatic, Unmatched. But we're talking about a 3-album
run. Together.
Boom, boom, boom. 3 together.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And I do think that this is a beautiful 3-peat that we have. There's very few skips. I think it definitely builds an intensity. Like that first King's Disease that came out, he sounded like he was back and like ready to rip. King's Disease 2, he was like, yo, I'm here and I'm just gonna continue. And I got my momentum up. And then on this one, he's like, let me put it this way. He's not trying to do anything to please anybody, do anything. He's just spitting his raps. This is what I came to do. This is what I'm gonna do. Here you go. And it's epic.
Yeah. And then Ty says Stillmatic, Godson, Streets Disciple. And see, I feel like
that's a dope one
too. But I feel like Streets Disciple is the weak link.
Is the weak link there?
I just don't know if there's a weak link between these three, really. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know if there's a weak link. I don't know. It's hard to say. And then let me see who Kave said, does KD1, KD2, or Magic have a Nas's like? And I mean, I get that. That's one joint. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, as an overall, I think as an overall project, these three I think are better than I Am as an overall project, in my opinion.
And does that album Does that album have a 27 Summers? Does it have Blue Bands? Does it have a 10 Points? Does it have a Nobody? Okay.
Nobody.
Does it have
a nobody?
Yeah. It doesn't. Nobody doesn't exist anywhere else in his discography, my guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah. Like he's doing things. He's doing stuff that he couldn't do before, and it's epic because he's finding a way to do what hasn't been done yet.
Right. And Mike 8 said, if the weak link is KD1, that's a nice run.
Because KD1 is a Grammy-winning album and it's fire.
Yeah.
Like I could put all three of these albums in a playlist, hit play in order, and not skip anything, and have a good drive, have a good long drive to it. You feel me?
Right. You know, so it's Plant-Based said, I am hits. I am our heavy hitters. I am hits are heavy hitters, but the misses are huge. Nas is like it's hard, but then you got Dr. Knock Boot.
I always looked at Dr. Knock Boots as a skit, so I never, you know what I mean?
Kind of a skit type of thing, right? Me too. I kind of looked at it that way too. You know what I mean? So I guess I just forgave him for that. Like,
and that's one of the best things about Nas is the risk taker. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But he's in such control of what he does musically now.
Yeah. Now
it's like
Young God has a point. He said, "What if the bootleg version of I Am came out? That's the perfect run."
Oh, no. Yeah, I was just having this conversation like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
About the bootleg version, because you know what I mean. A lot of those records are in I Am. They're in Nostradamus, and then Lost Tapes, obviously. But I think that might have been his best album if it didn't get bootleg.
That man, if somebody said it earlier, they wish he would drop the original version.
Yes,
I wish he would too. You know, I think.
It's crazy how fans. Tell them what you were saying the other day, Sim.
Well, and it's actually it's not even my idea. It's Nipsey Hussle brought Nas the idea of doing a documentary about I Am, you know, the original version, how it got bootlegged and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And then putting out the original version of the album. You know what I mean? I think that would be dope. So that we can,
that would be fire.
You know, obviously there's probably some things with Sony that maybe you can't work through. I don't know. I'm sure he could. I'm sure Sony
or recreate it.
You know, but that album, when you look at what was supposed to be the original version, that was going to be crazy.
And it was a body of work, like from Fetus to Amongst Kings, and the storyline of you know what I mean, like bananas.
Yeah, that was going to be crazy. That was definitely going to be crazy. You know, but now and then I guess there's one more question. Is this the third? Obviously, it's not the third installment of King's Disease, but is this counted as an album, or is this, I guess it's supposed to be an EP though? And that's another reason why I say talk about it being an extension of KD1 and KD2, you know, because they say it's an EP, so maybe it's, you know what I mean? It's that Cutting Floor Records.
What does EP stand for?
Extended play.
Oh.
You know, so, you know, maybe.
I had a different thought. I was close though.
So, you know, I don't know. I don't care, really. It's dope. That's all I care about is dope.
Yeah, dope, man. Dope. We got a treat. Like I woke up thinking today was gonna be a regular day, and then Tone hit the chat like Nas dropping tonight. I thought he was just gonna drop a song, and then I saw online it was an album. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, no doubt. But yeah, man, dope album, ladies and gentlemen, super dope album. Make sure you check it out if you have not checked it out. That's Nas and HitBoy, Name of the album is Magic. Got 9 joints on it. It's super dope album. I'm about to go listen to it again. That's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna go listen to it again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
And Nas got a lot in the tank left.
A lot in the tank. A lot in the tank. Lex said, "I've had the MPCX for 3 years. Where's the beats?" Actually, I mean, if you go on NBK, you can hear some of the beats because, you know, I've been using the beats in videos. I've been using them, you know, for people's intros, and you know, some people out here that I've worked with that got some stuff. You know, I safeguard them though. I safeguard them. Just saying. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys for being here. We're definitely gonna do a full review. You know, we always do. You know, we was joking before we get on, like, you know, sometimes I get mad busy and I can't get on, but if a Nas album drops, I'm on. You guys, you know, you guys don't see this until a Nas album drops. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden we come out the blue. But we appreciate y'all, man. And we're gonna try to be on more often. It's just sometimes schedules get in the way, but I gotta work that out. I gotta
New Year's resolution. How about
resolution. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. To jump on every day and do something every day, because there's always stuff out anyway. But the album is dope, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you check it out. We're out of here. We appreciate your time. Be peaceful. Have a very Merry Christmas. Enjoy your family.
It's Christmas Eve now.
Especially, you know, looking at it's Christmas Eve right now. Exactly. Especially looking at everything going on in the world, man. Make sure you're enjoying your family and spending that time with them, because, you know, it's needed. But we out of here, ladies and gentlemen.
Stoop Kids holla. Hip hop.
Right here.